Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 31st December 2024. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. All the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, please click on the tab posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab community. Click on the tab. You get access to our free training course. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into the playlist supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1. all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. It will be helpful to you. Now let's get into the report generation. First, we will find the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames, starting with quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. 4 stocks are filtered. I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. I request you pause the video, study the report. After that you can proceed further. In case if you does not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Next, quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. 3 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone, and these monthly demand zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at monthly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That indicates the pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 9 stocks. In these 9 monthly demand zone, price closed inside these zones. Next monthly time frame. Price closed previously. Sorry for my mistake. I selected near demand zone. I have to select inside the demand zone. Sorry for my mistake. Okay, we got a big list. These are the first 19 stocks where price closed inside the monthly demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 29 monthly demand zones are filtered where price closed inside these monthly demand zones. We can further filter this list based on high probability monthly demand zones based on EMA Confluence. So EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and EMA Confluence makes sense only in the trending market, not sideways. So that's why in the trend at monthly time frame, I am selecting up or down but not sideways. Let's filter. We got 16 stocks. These 16 monthly demand zones are high probability monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. And also current price is closed inside the monthly demand zones. See, these zones will be useful for the traders who wants to plan the trades manually by keeping this monthly zone as a HTF zone or ITF zone. That's why monthly, weekly and daily I am providing these kind of stocks based on EMA confluence, price closed inside the zones. Those who wants to go for directly bullish and bearish trade setup stocks, you can look into the stocks we are going to generate later in this report. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. These monthly supply zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at monthly time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. We got only 2 stocks. Price closed inside monthly supply zones because entry time frame is monthly. Any means any kind of high liquidity zone, any kind of zone. It could be high liquidity zone or normal zone. It won't categorize based on the high liquidity or normal zones or even pierced zones, but we filtered the pierced zones using this condition. Okay, next we will verify any of these zones are having monthly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence monthly time frame, selecting the filter monthly supply zone having a monthly EMA confluence. No stocks are having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. 17 stocks are filtered. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 17 stocks are filtered. Okay, next weekly time frame. Stocks near weekly supply zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Next weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone, and these weekly demand zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at a weekly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0 with this filter. We got the stocks. First 16 stocks in the list where price closed inside the weekly demand zone. I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the list of the stocks where price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We can further filter this list based on high probability parameter, weekly demand zones having weekly EMA confluence. Let's add that filter. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, and the trend should not be sideways because EMA confluence is having power only in the trending market, either up or down, but not sideways. Let's filter. We got 18 stocks. Currently price closed in these 18 weekly demand zones, and also these weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. And none of these stocks are having trend as sideways. Look into the LTF trend. Whichever the time frame you select, that time frame trend will be nothing but LTF trend. Okay, next weekly time frame. Price closed inside weekly supply zone. These weekly supply zones should not be pierced. So at pierced count, weekly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. We got 14 stocks. Currently price closed in these 14 weekly supply zones. Out of these 14, we can further filter based on the high probability parameter, weekly EMA Confluence. Supply zones having weekly EMA Confluence. Let's set that filter, EMA Confluence at weekly time frame. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. And also the trend should not be sideways, it can be up or down. So that's why in the trend at weekly time frame, I'm setting up or down trend. With these filters, we got 5 stocks. So all these 5 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA Confluence. And also the current price closed inside those weekly supply zones. Okay, next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. HDFC Bank is having a high liquidity zone. That's it. We have identified only one high liquidity zone from this list. Okay, next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Let us verify high liquidity supply zones from this list. MGL is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. And Zydus Life is also having a high liquidity daily supply zone. We identified 2 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily demand zone. These daily demand zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at a daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. We got a big list. First 15 stocks in the list where price closed inside the daily demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 33 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily demand zone. Out of these 33, there could be some high probability setup supported daily demand zones based on the daily EMA Confluence. So let's filter the stocks based on EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. And the trend at daily time frame should not be sideways. So I'm selecting up or down. And these are all stocks inside the daily demand zone. So let's filter the stocks further. Now the list is come down to 9 stocks. All these 9 daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence, and also the current price is closed inside the daily demand zones. Okay, next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. These daily supply zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. So first 15 stocks in the list where price closed inside the daily supply zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 22 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily supply zone. Out of these 22, there could be some high probability supported zones might be available based on daily EMA Confluence. Daily supply zones having daily EMA Confluence. Let's set that filter in the EMA Confluence at daily time frame. I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. And also the trend should not be sideways on daily time frame. So I am selecting up or down trend. Now let's filter. Now the list is come down to 11 stocks. These 11 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence and also current price closed inside these 11 daily supply zones. So this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minute supply zone. 5 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got a big list. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Okay, now let us find 18 stocks are there. Let us filter, let us identify high liquidity zones from this list for our HLQ zone strategy. Nifty metals, it is a indices not listed in F&O. Bajaj Auto, already tested 7 times, my God. So Bajaj Auto is having a high liquidity zone. Crompton is having a high liquidity zone. IGL is having a high liquidity zone. MCX is having a high liquidity zone. MFSL is having a high liquidity zone. Syngen is having a high liquidity zone. So total 6 high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones we identified from this list. Okay, this is about stocks near 75 minutes zones and high liquidity zones. Next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Apollo Hospital is having a high liquidity supply zone. Federal Bank is having a high liquidity supply zone. Maruti is having a high liquidity supply zone. SAIL is having a high liquidity supply zone. Total 4 high liquidity supply zones are identified. That means for daily and 75 minutes demand and supply zones together, we identified 13 stocks. It's a big list. So you should carefully analyze the stocks. And also lesson 16 concept also properly you should identify when a zone can be violated. Okay, this is about 75 minutes time frame. Next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. 10 stocks are filtered. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. 11 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Let us identify any of these stocks are having ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. So with this filter, we got 3 stocks. That means in these 3 demand zones are part of the 75-minute zone, but first one is already pierced, so it is invalid. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minute supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Let's verify any of these supply zones are having ITF confluence. ITF supply zone confluence. That is a 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I enable this filter. Out of 3, we got only 1 stock. And moreover, this supply zone is a high liquidity zone. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Let's identify how many of these stocks are having ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. Now the list is come down to 4 stocks. In all these 4 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are part of the 15 minutes demand zone. Okay, next for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone, we got 15 stocks. Out of these 15, how many are having ITF confluence? That is 5 minutes supply zone with 15 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, from the 15 stocks, the list is come down to 5 stocks. All these 5 supply zones are part of the 15 minute supply zone, but the third one is invalid because the supply zone is already pierced. Okay, this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. We also identified daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Okay, next set of reports are about NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. First, let's start with NIFTY. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to check any of the zones are pierced, they are invalid. And always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And apply the same rules for the remaining reports for the supply demand zones. And also don't forget to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report, because I am giving you only few seconds time. Okay, next. Weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Let me scroll the list down. I think the first 15 minutes also I have to do that. I think 15 minutes supply demand zone chain. We have very few demand zones. I'm scrolling the list down. Now you can view more demand zones. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. All these are all supply zones. So let me scroll the list to get the demand zones also. Okay, from here you have the demand zones. Sorry, from here. So that the immediate demand zone is a high liquidity demand zone. Already tested 3 times. Okay, this is about NIFTY supply demand zone chain. Next, BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. That is nothing but NIFTY Bank. So I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 125 minute supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. So this is about BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. And next we will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for different income trades like monthly, weekly and daily income trades. First, let us generate bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bullish. These daily demand zones should not be pierced. That's why in the pierced count parameter at the daily time frame, entry time frame, I am selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means the pierced count is 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to daily demand zone. Let's verify. We got 14 stocks. Currently, these 14 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. All these are all daily demand zones. In these 14 daily demand zones, some of the zones are high probability zones based on the high liquidity. Apart from that, we can also further filter high probability zones based on the zone confluence. So the first filter is based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. So let us add that filter for those 14 stocks, LTF and ITF, that is a daily and weekly demand zone confluence. So with this filter, out of 14, we got 9 stocks. In all these 9 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. At the same time, weekly trend is also uptrend in all these stocks, ITF trend. And daily is part of the weekly trend is uptrend. If weekly zone is having weekly EMA confluence, it could be even more high probability trade setup stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, because daily zone is part of the weekly zone, and I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, from those 9 stocks, we got 7 stocks. All these 7 stocks are high probability setup supported stocks, because the daily zone is part of the weekly zone and the weekly zone is having weekly EMA confluence. Okay, next filter is based on LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. All the 3 time frame confluence. I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, I should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is daily with weekly zone confluence. Next, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence, and a weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got only 1 stock. So this daily demand zone is part of the weekly demand zone, both together again part of the monthly demand zone. Let us check whether this monthly demand zone is having monthly EMA confluence, because monthly trend is up. If EMA confluence is there, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence filter is enabled, but the stock is not filtered. Only zone confluence is there, but monthly zone is not having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bearish. These daily supply zones should not be pierced. So at the pierced count parameter at entry time frame daily, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. This time all the 3 filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter the stocks. We got 3 stocks. Currently, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, these 3 stocks are filtered. And these entry zones are daily supply zones. Out of these 3 daily supply zones, some of these stocks are high probability based on the high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is a daily and a weekly supply zone confluence. The filter is enabled. With this filter, out of 3, all the 3 stocks are filtered. That means in all the 3 stocks, all these daily supply zones are part of the weekly supply zone. And weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks. And if the weekly supply zone is having weekly EMA confluence, those stocks could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, because the daily supply zone is part of the weekly supply zone. That's why we are verifying for weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, out of 3, we got 2 stocks. And these 2 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay. Now we will also further filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. Out of the 3, how many are having? Let's verify. I removed EMA filter. Supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. Already one filter is enabled, daily with weekly supply zone confluence. Next, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence, and weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the three filters, out of the three stocks, we got one stock. So this supply zone is having this daily supply zone is part of weekly, both together again part of monthly, and monthly trend is down. If this stock is having monthly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. EMA confluence at monthly time frame, because daily and weekly together part of the monthly. That's why we are looking for monthly supply zone with monthly EMA confluence. With this filter, it is filtered. That means it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, let us look for bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. So entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. This 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. Currently, these 6 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and these entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 6 75 minutes demand zones, there are some high probability setup supported zones are there based on high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can further filter based on the LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. Let's verify them. In the demand zone confluence, 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence, I am enabling that filter. With this filter, out of those 8 stocks, we got 3 stocks. So in all the 3 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in all these stocks. And 75 minutes zone is part of the daily zone. That's why if daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence, those zones could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Let's verify. We got 2 stocks. So these 2 75 minutes demand zones are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. We can also add one more filter, LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing this filter. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily zone confluence. Second filter, 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Third filter, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got only 1 stock. But the weekly trend is sideways, no need to look for weekly EMA confluence because it doesn't give any extra advantage. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame. I am selecting bearish. This 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the 75 minutes time frame I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone. Let's verify. We got 11 stocks. All these 11 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. All these are all 75-minute supply zones. Out of these 11 75-minute supply zones, they are the entry zones, entry time frame zones. Those 75-minute supply zones, some high probability zones are there based on high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. Let's verify. That is 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, now the list is come down to 9. In all these 9 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. That is what zone confluence. And the daily trend is down in all the stocks, that is ITF trend. Because the 75-minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone and trend is down, if there are 7 and the daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence, that could be even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's verify. The daily time frame, I am setting daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence filter. Now the list is come down to 6. So these 6 are high probability trade setup supported stocks. And also some of the supply zones are also further adding probability based on high liquidity zones. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup, weekly income trade based on LTF and ITF and EMA confluence. Let us further add one more filter, LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. And in the supply zone, we need to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 with daily supply zone confluence. Next, second filter, 75-minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone, both together again part of the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down for only one stock. If this is having weekly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. Both stocks are filtered, but ignore the first one. Second one only we need to consider. It is downtrend. First one sideways trend. EMA confluence does not add any extra advantage. Okay. This is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes. Entry zone, demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting bullish. These 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why at 15 minutes time frame I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 9 stocks. Currently these 9 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and these entry zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 9 15 minutes demand zones, some are having high probability because of high liquidity zones. But apart from that, we can also filter high probability zones based on zone confluence. So the first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So I am setting this filter. With this filter, 8 stocks are filtered. That means in all these 8 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. That is ITF trend. And if the 75 minutes demand zone is having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability setup stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, because 15 minutes demand zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone. That's why we are looking for 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got one stock. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, now let us look for the next filter, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. The first filter is already enabled, that is 15 minutes with 75 minutes zone confluence. Second filter, 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Third filter, 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again part of the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in only one stock. If this is having daily EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Sideways daily trend, you can ignore them. Oh, only one stock is filtered, that is exactly Coforge having uptrend, daily trend. So it is a even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. This 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes. Supply zone, we forgot to set. So 15 minutes supply zone. Let's filter the stocks. So 7 stocks are filtered. And these 7 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And all these supply zones are 15 minutes entry zones. Out of these 7 15 minute supply zones, some are high probability based on high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter these stocks based on the zone confluence. The first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence, that is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I enable the filter. With this filter, the list is come down to 6. In all these 6 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. That is what zone confluence. And 75 minutes trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. If the 75 minute supply zone is having daily EMA, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify if any. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence. We got only one stock. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. And also the zone is also high liquidity zone, the 15 minute zone. Okay. Next filter is LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is 15 minutes with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Second filter is 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third filter 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence, we did not get any stocks. Fine. So this is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.